Time trying to communicate some really good point. I'm not going to waste, my time or other people's time getting into kind of biblical stuff, biblical reasonings with ones that don't understand the Bible is science, it's reality, and they still are looking at it from some speculative Anglo white supremacy, some twisted, some distorted Santa Claus, Christmas tree, all this illogical stuff. Other people have already made videos and have totally expounded on academic, factual, verifiable truth, why this is a lie, why this was distorted and misinterpreted and so forth and so on. So we don't have to cover that ground. But when we say that Satan or Satan is a bitch, and that bitch through her nature, her low nature into the original black female. Now that is a prototype. That is like a scientific formula. You understand, if the circumstances are right, like if you have the right elements and you mix the right elements in a certain so-called concoction or arrangement, you're going to get the reaction that others have already witnessed and noted in their scientific books. So the Bible, in truth, not all this white supremacy twisted up matrix system kind of garbage, but the Bible in truth is just like that. But we can't approach it from that point with most folks, and we waste our time when we even attempt to. So what we want to do is just deal with the reality of it and season that reality, you understand, with some references from that scientific or metaphysical interpretation of the Holy Scripture. But we want to deal with reality. We don't want to like fly off on a spaceship or a mothership if it's not already here. You understand? We want, if it's going to come and we can prepare, let's prepare for it. But we're not going to fly off on some speculative kind of mothership, you understand, and talk and make ourselves feel good. But this reality around us is destroying us. It's destroying our present and it's destroying our future. So Satan is a bitch. See, this is what you have to understand. Satan is a bitch. And when I say Satan is a bitch, I'm not saying that woman, you understand, is Satan. I'm not saying that even the black female or black mothers or women per se or women per se are Satan. I'm saying exactly what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is that Satan is a bitch. And that bitch, through her low nature, you see, there's so many references. There's so many references to this. For example, there's a video we saw up there on the YouTubes where a woman put up something about why black women refuse or can't submit. Satan refused to submit. Do you know the so-called Judeo-Christian, theological, Islamic kind of interpretation? Remember, most of the world subscribes to one or more of those beliefs. So we're dealing with people in the world that already subscribe to this way of thinking. So if we don't understand, I don't just mean understand, but if we don't understand this way of thinking, then we're not able to really budge or even move anything forward, backward, side to side, up or down. We're stuck. You're like you're stuck, in the middle. You understand? Too low to get over, too high to crawl under. What was that thing that Michael Jackson? Some kind of thing. But you know what I'm talking about. You're stuck in the middle. Basically, you're stuck in the middle. And this is not to even be emotional, because there's a good point. Even Thugtition and a couple others have recognized on that. One thing that we as black males especially do too much is that we do get emotional instead of getting mental. Remember, the mind is all. Instead of getting mental, you know what I'm saying, instead of getting intellectual, instead of overstanding the point, we fall or we fail in our understanding of the point. So overstand this well when we say that Satan is a bitch. You understand? Satan is that original prototype of bitch. Now, what is a bitch? Bitch is defined as being a female dog. Now, you've all heard it said ad nauseum, over and over, that the black man and men are dogs. Some say black men, some just say men, but the whole idea that males are dogs. You understand? All males are dogs. And even some add to that, well, it all depends on the breed. You understand? There's different kind of dogs and so forth and so on. What I find so interesting with that concept and that idea is that a lot of males themselves, you understand, in this PTSD society, post-traumatic, slave disordered society, buy into that You understand? And self-perpetuate that illogical, irrational, and evil stereotype. You know what I'm saying? So they go out there and woof woof, yeah, I'm a dog. Doesn't the army and the military still use dog tags? You understand? So when you put all these things together, you begin to see types and metaphors, and you begin to see how it is that we're in what we're in. You understand? And how when the scripture is properly overstood in reality, when it's digested, not just read, not just, screaming and shouting and getting all emotional. Yeah, that's good. A good song is good every now and then. A good song giving praises is good too, but not overstanding. The original sin was not so much sex. The original sin was disobedience. The original sin was ignorance. You understand? And because of that ignorance, that not knowing the Father, you understand? Not knowing the Father, not knowing God, not knowing. You remember what Eve said? She said after she was deceived. Notice, Eve was deceived. It doesn't mean that the man, the original man, is the original black male, and the black male and the black female, they were created in a perfect condition. But we no longer live in a world that is anywhere near to a perfect condition. You understand? It is an imperfect condition that we live in this modern world, with the system, with these this black male, black female, the child support, the CSB, the child support beggars, these fathers, and then these other Mangina men. And so we have all these character types, but all these character types have already been identified in the true scientific overstanding of the scripture. This is why we say that Satan is a bitch, because Satan refused to bow to man. God said to all the angels, bow, you understand? Bow to this man that I've created, because he's going to be ruler. He's going to be, the Muslims say, Khalifa. You understand? He's going to be the Lord. He's going to be the boss. He's going to be the God man. You understand? After me, after the Almighty, this man, this black male. And all of the angels bowed except for Satan, that bitch. You understand? And the other bitches that follow Satan, they refuse to bow. They refuse to submit. See, that's on a spiritual level. Now, the deception of Eve is like the deception of the 1960s black females. You understand? And the black family with this so-called feminist, this feminist or femalist. You understand? This femalist movement. You see, the feminist movement we call BFFs, best friends forever. Well, not just best friends forever, but black Frankenstein females, or black Frankenstein femalist. You understand? So-called feminism. You know that famous poster that's out there? I think it has like Angela Davis. Not Angela Davis, excuse me. It's another black female. Forgot her name, but with Gloria Steinem. Isn't that interesting that the founder of the feminist movement in modern America, her name is Steinem, black Frankenstein female. You always mean by Frankenstein. Frankenstein means that she is less than original. You know what I'm saying? Not even maybe half original, maybe only quarter original, maybe only 10% original. Each generation that we are in this systemic anomaly and we do not overstand and we do not overcome it, that percentage becomes less and less and less. So as black people in the 60s was coming to their perfect condition, you understand, of knowledge of self, of love of one another, of community, of family, of rights, and of responsibility, then the serpent entered the garden. You understand? Satan, that bitch, entered the garden. You understand? And went to who? Went to deceive Eve. Went to deceive the black female, you understand, in her perfection of Afro, black power, black pride. I'm that black mother, I'm that black Mary, and that black Madonna. This is my black man. He's God and I'm his earth. All of that was crashed. All of that was destroyed. This is also part of the COINTELPRO when you overstand, that functions now in this matrix-like system. So we're going to touch on this a little bit more in the next part of this series on Satan is a bitch, because you have to understand exactly what this means, because this is going to be very important to those who overstand and overcome, and those who are overcome because they're just too dumb.